Hello everyone, it's Shauna with Godly Family Discipleship, and I have the video devotion for today. This is video 5. We are on 1 Corinthians chapter 16. We're finishing out the book of 1 Corinthians, and the Apostle Paul is going back and he's reminding us of a few things. If you remember, 1 Corinthians chapter 13 is the chapter of love. The Apostle Paul goes into great detail about what love is. Love is patient, love is kind, doesn't keep a record of wrongs, and isn't envious. So many things that love isn't, but so many things that love is. And he is reminding the Corinthian church in verse 14 to do everything in love. Very short scripture, but very impactful scripture. It is a scripture that is easy to remember. It is one that is easy to teach your children. It's easy to explain. Let me explain. The Apostle Paul knows that love is a great motivator, and love is a great conqueror. So when we act and when we speak, we do those things in love. We won't be steered wrong. We will always do things with the right motives if we do things in love. Now, love doesn't always look like we may expect it, because sometimes it's tough love that we need. It's the truth in love that we need. And sometimes it may be hard to hear or hard to receive. But if it is done in love, it's done with the right motives. I know that as a child, it was hard for me to hear my parents say no when I may have wanted to watch a show that my friends watched or go somewhere that my friends went. But my parents told me no because they loved me and because they wanted to protect me, and they knew that the best thing for me was to not be exposed to those things and not to go to those places, because those places would hold temptation for me, and temptation could lead me away from God and toward the world. I am very grateful for that now, especially having children of my own. You understand more and more that tough love and loving your children with the truth is going to give them a stronger foundation, is going to make sure that they are closer to Christ, and that they have a desire to do the right things. I know that my parents were very good examples of love. I've had many people in my life that have been very good examples of love. Some of the things that I got to witness as a child was my father drove the church bus, and he did it in love. He absolutely loved those kids, but he loved God, and he wanted those teenagers to know God. And my mom did a lot of taking care of other people, whether that was providing clothes or a hug or friendship or an ear to listen, or was it if it was food or dinner, whatever it was. My mom was someone who had the gift of helps, and she did it with a loving heart and was always encouraging to people. Now I have a sister and my dad and another sister and a brother, and they show me love in some of the greatest ways of foster care. That's a great way to show love. When there's horror stories that people do foster care for the money, and if you've ever done foster care, you know there's not money in it when you actually take care of these children, and you buy them clothes and you buy them food and you get them involved in sports events, and there's not money in it. But when you love a child in foster care for the simple fact of showing them love, man, it's so impactful. And then sometimes you get to go a step further and you get to say, okay, this is your forever family, and you get to adopt them. And that's exactly what God did. He always goes a step further, and he adopts us into his family, and he says, you know what, everything that I do for you is motivated by love. So we should be that example also, the example that God gives us, and we should do everything in love. As I end today, I just want to remind you to live intentionally for Christ, act out in love in all things, and remember to get up every day, exalt God, encounter God, edify yourself, and engage the world. Know that the world is depending on you. Know that they're depending on you to hear about this love of Christ, this love that can cleanse them, can make them whole, that can deliver them, can bring healing, and most importantly, can bring salvation. It is a love like no other. So let others know about the love of Christ. But until next time, God bless you.